We are so glad you're back with us for the Brentwood Academy podcast. Lots of changes ahead for the academic and athletic schedule this upcoming school year, and we know our parents have lots of questions. BA's Athletic Director Jason Matthews and BAPA President Laura Tucker sit down to walk you through it all in this episode of the BA podcast.
All right, Laura,
Hey.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So you have just taken over for BAPA. You're president of BAPA, and we're starting this new fitness program. And I thought it would be a really good idea to have you go out, get some questions, and see if we can help our community kind of navigate this unique situation of new school year, new program, and all that. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
What kind of questions do you have for us?
Plenty of questions.
Plenty of questions.
Okay, let's start with the why.
Yep.
Because we know there has to be a purpose for you to implement this much change. So what was the overall goal when adding workouts to the school day?
Great question. Great start. One of the things that we've noticed in our surveys that we take with our families and when our students at the end of the year is that our kids are tired. Our kids are just, they have stuff that gets pounded on them, whether it's academics, athletics, even the spiritual life piece. Their days are full. Mm-hmm. They very, very seldom get home at a decent time. And when they get home at a decent time, they've got to study for tests. So we were looking at other schools and thought, how can we make this better? Well, from an athletic director standpoint, what I saw was our kids, everyone that plays sports, the boys usually lifted before school early and the girls lifted after school late. And the thought was, if we could implement this somewhere in the school day, then they could arrive to school with everybody else at a normal time. And then at the end of school, when classes are over, the academic time is over, they can then go straight to their athletic. So that may be either watch film or that may be go to practice. But regardless, they won't have to lift before they watch film and then go to practice. So our hope is to get everyone sleeping a good number of hours, and then get everybody home in a good number of hours. And then the other piece of this is we have a segment of our population that doesn't play any sports. Mm-hmm. What we found is the PE, the traditional PE of Brentwood Academy, we would have a hard time getting them there because if you only have PE and you have doctor's appointments and you had everything, we had a hard time with attendance. At this point, it's going to be a traditional class, and we're going to have that at the same time every day. So hopefully that'll eliminate some problems with that.
Okay, that's helpful. Tell us what parents can expect regarding the new fitness program model and how it's exactly implemented into the school day.
Yeah, so we're going to go to a 9-period block from a 7-period block. So for those who have been in part of Brentwood Academy, we have 4 periods that will meet opposite A day or B day, and then we'll have a period at the end of the day called A5, B5. Now, the other plus of this schedule means that if everyone at Brentwood Academy Upper School lifts or does fitness during those first 4 blocks during the day, they won't have to do anything during that A5, B5. And why that's important is because any of the parents with middle school students, the middle schoolers will have access to the weight room by themselves. Usually what would happen last year is the middle schoolers would come in that A4, B4 block last year, and some high schoolers would be in there lifting, and it would divide. The middle schoolers wouldn't go to that place because the high schoolers were there. We're going to have exclusive time set aside for the middle schoolers. So that means track, football, gyms, weight room will all be exclusive for the middle school. So what that will look like just down to the core is of those A1 through 4 blocks or B1 through 4 blocks, one of those blocks every day will be set aside for what we call fitness class. Fitness class is not football-specific workouts, softball-specific workouts, soccer-specific workouts. And when I say workouts, what I'm talking about is field workouts. It is set aside for strength and conditioning for those specific sports. And I know we'll get into more detail of that later, but we want to give those kids roughly 40 minutes of workouts per day so they can get their workouts done for their specific sport.
How will you accommodate all of the different lifting programs specific to each sport at the same time? And will athletes be able to train with their teammates? That seems to be a big one.
Yeah. So every time there's a change, you always have to weigh the good and the bad. And the good news is everyone's hopefully going to get more time away from BA. The bad news is the cost of that is the team lifting. And we know that is a cost. There's some other costs as well, which we'll get to later. But that is one of the big costs that I've talked to our coaches about last year. Is it worth it? So the answer to the last part of it is no, they will not get to lift as a team. Now, how they will accommodate the different lifting is the software we have in our weight room is we're one of the few high schools that have it in America. And what happens, our strength coaches, it'll be Scotty Rill and Kirsten Biggers, will have a sport-specific workout for each one of the students. It is directed specifically towards students. So if you have a girls soccer player, which you do, and she goes in and she's got Monday through Friday, either A day or B day, she is lifting. She's going to have a specific soccer workout for those days. I know the question is going to come up of what happens if there's game days. Let's say we have games Tuesday and Thursday. On those days, she will not lift. The coaches will tell the strength and conditioning coaches, and on those days, she will go to the study hall and she will not be lifting those days.
Okay. I think that's really important
Yeah.
for parents to know.
Yeah.
So transitioning just a teeny bit,
Yeah.
will there be enough racks and equipment to support all these multiple programs happening and running simultaneously? And will certain athletes or sports be given priority to use the equipment if they are in season?
Yes, and they will, but I want to make sure our parents kind of see what's happening. We'll have, with each 4 blocks, we'll have roughly a quarter of our high school population in the weight room.
How many students is that roughly?
So it'll be a 450, 460 students. So we'll have 120 if everybody was lifting. I think eventually we'll get to, not every group is lifting every day. So we have a couple sports, and the ones I can remember offhand are going to be swimming and golf. What we want to make sure is they're not doing more than what they had to do in the past. Dance is another one. They would not have to do more than what they would do in the past. And every one of those sports, at the end of the school day, they would go off campus to do something or dance in the studio. What we want to make sure is those students that are in those sports are not required to take an agility, strength, and conditioning or fitness during the day. So they will not take a fitness class. So that takes a couple of people out of those classes.
Sure.
Some of the other sports, such as tennis, or if you're an athletic manager, there's one more, I'm sure. That they are required to take one of the 2 days of agility, strength, and conditioning. So they will either lift on A day or they will lift on B day. So that will take some more numbers off of it. So when we get down to it, we will roughly have 100 to 120 kids in each one of these blocks. That weight room is big enough and has enough racks to take care of all that number. So I'm not worried about the numbers in the weight room. We'll have kids that step out of there to go to study hall because they're in game day.
Right.
So the numbers at maximum will be 100 to 120 in the weight room. And if you've ever seen the weight room at the end of the day as it was last year, there's a lot more people than that in the weight room at one time. That's just using the racks. That's not using the turf in the middle. That's not using the cardio in the back. So the room is plenty big enough to use it.
Okay. Let's think through, if I have a student who just needs to fulfill their fitness requirement, they don't play in a school sport at Brentwood Academy. How does that training differ for those students?
Great question. So Kirsten and Scotty have done a great job with our team sports, teaching them the mechanics of lifting, the power clean or just squatting with proper technique. They spend time over the summer training that. So when they come in, it's not like Kirsten doesn't have to look at that student squatting, but Kirsten can glance over 4 or 5 different racks and see that person's doing it the right way. For those that are not our sport-specific athletes that are going to come in there, likely a lot of days they may be cardio. A lot of the days they may be doing calisthenic lifts. Maybe they'll be doing med ball push-ups or wall squats or even just lunges.
Sure.
We're trying to get everyone to do a physical component. Some of the kids, they're never going to be lifting a lot of weights, and that's okay. But all the kids can go walk on the treadmill for 30, 40 minutes. So that's really what we're trying to do, is break a physical component back to being a Brentwood Academy graduate. And just so, as I think you know, but just so we can refresh our parents, to graduate Brentwood Academy, not only do you need 4 Englishes, not only do you need 4 maths, not only do you need 3 histories and 3 sciences and fine arts and Christian life, you need 4 PE. So to graduate, every kid has to take something every year.
For sure. Okay. Building into that whole person philosophy.
Yes.
So let's talk about some of the basics.
Yep.
How long is the entire block for fitness? And how much time do students have when they enter to change into their fitness uniform?
Yep.
How long is the workout typically? And how long will students have to change and shower before heading back into their next block?
Yeah. So the big block, the total block is 75 minutes. Now, if it's first block of the day, it'll be 80 minutes because we have time for a devotional. But normally the block will be 75 minutes. Of that 75 minutes, students will have 10 minutes to get dressed. They'll have 40 minutes to lift, and they'll have 25 minutes to get showered and get back. The 10 minutes is fairly normal for most every sport we have of people getting dressed. And that, I would even say from a football standpoint, getting pants and pads on takes a little bit longer. These kids are just moving to short. So I think the 10 minutes getting there is going to be easy. That's not counting the passing period. So I think in between blocks, I think the 10 minutes is going to be fine. I think the 40 minutes is going to be fine because realistically, that 40 minutes is not a true 40 minutes. We're going to be taking attendance in the weight room. So it may be down to 35 minutes. So we're not talking about they're going to be working out for an hour and a half.
Sure.
They've got 35, 40 minutes where they're working out. And then when that workout's done, they will have 25 minutes to get back in the locker room, to shower, and then to get back to class. We're gonna have people that are going to help work to get us moving in the right direction. But those are the big numbers that we're hoping. I know some of the questions that one of the families is asking is, what happens if you have lunch during one of those blocks? Well, for that block, I think it'll be the A3, B3 block. The period will be extended from 75 minutes to 105 minutes. We'll basically put 30 minutes of lunch in there. Those students will go lift. They will shower. They will get back in their school clothes, and then they will have 30 minutes to go up to eat, and they go straight from lunch to their next A4, B4 class.
Okay. So you touched on this. So one other quick question I'd heard from parents. If you have a student that has fitness first block, are you allowed to come to school already in your fitness attire?
Yes. Great question. Yes.
Okay.
And there's no reason for them to come. Now, I would say if there's an exception, if there's if we're greeting parents for a tour, if we've got some reason, of course we want them to be. But if they're coming to school just to start school, they can come in their fitness clothes because first block they're going to be lifting.
Okay, so piggybacking off of that, talk to me about appropriate dress for students during fitness. Can their clothes be altered in any way? And what is appropriate for them to be wearing?
Yeah, so we're gonna start the year with we want to have a uniform during fitness class. And what that means is we want you to wear a BA shirt, and we really would prefer you to wear BA shorts. Some teams have BA shorts, some teams don't have BA shorts. And just think of the whole numbers. Probably 85 to 90% of our kids are playing some sport. So when you look at that sport that they're playing, if it is volleyball has shorts and shirts. We want them to wear that, something BA issued. Now, for those who do not play a sport, we are providing at least a shirt and shorts for those, quote, traditional old PE types that don't have it, because we want them to wear it. They will not be able to lift in school dress. We know some people will be, well, I don't have, I'm wearing my khakis. We're not going to permit that. And then again, the deterrent is, well, if I don't have to lift, I'm going to wear that. Well, the deterrent is actually when they come, they're going to have to do more, and there's going to be a penalty for not being in dress code, just like everything else. So we want our parents' help to encourage us. That will include everybody will bring a duffel bag. Everybody will have a locker that they can put their stuff in, and we want them to be able to get into a uniform before they go.
Okay. talking a little bit more about specifics even further.
Yep.
How many shower stalls do you have for boys' locker room, girls' locker room? Are towels provided each day and laundered by Brentwood Academy? Are you providing soap, shampoo?
Yep.
Are there enough mirrors or outlets, especially for some who want to blow dry their hair or completely get ready for the next block?
Yeah, let me get into the specifics, and I know it's probably a little bit different with boys and girls. So we have, if you can visualize the rock, the building of the rock. Downstairs, there are 2 locker rooms. There are 2 big locker rooms. There's a boys' locker room and a girls' locker room. And upstairs in the rock, there are 2 different smaller locker rooms. In those locker rooms, for the girls, there are 4 showers in the bottom locker room, and there are 2 showers at the top. Across the hallway, across the quad, in the where we would call the volleyball, basketball girls' locker room, there are 6 more showers. So the girls have 12 total showers that we have access to during the day. The boys have roughly 20 showers, and the difference is there's 2 showers upstairs for the boys, but they have 18 in the locker room downstairs. One thing I think my wife was just flabbergasted. She couldn't understand it. Well, the boys' shower is one big square room with a whole bunch of nozzles coming out of one big room. Boys, traditionally, whether this continues or not, shower together and think nothing about it. Girls have roughly the same area, but it's divided up into stalls so they can have a private shower. Towels, we're going to do towels for everyone. So there'll be towels available for those that want to shower. There will be obviously soap. I'm going to say there's shampoo, but I'm going to tell you the girls' shampoo is probably not what we have for the boys that use shampoo. So I would probably say we don't provide the shampoo, even though we have it. The outlets and the mirrors, we're working on all those. I went through with a couple ladies at our school and said, tell me what would be smart for us to have here from a hairdryer perspective and from a mirror perspective. So we're working on all that. But, that's one of the big questions. We went to other competing schools and we said, so how many of the girls shower? Well, to be honest, a lot of the girls did not shower before. I think the boys have grown up showering and thinking this is easy and it's probably easier to get dressed. So we're going to have to see what happens with the girls' shower. We have plenty of lockers. I think we have plenty of showers. But again, if you think about a class, let's think of our big class. If we have 120 in one class and 60 of those are boys and 60 of those are girls, to run through those showers, those 60 girls, if every girl showers for those 12 showers, it's going to be 5 different shower sets that we have to get through in 25 minutes. So again, for a boy, that's real easy. That's a 2.5 minute shower, getting out of there and getting home. The girls, it's going to be different. I don't think all the girls are going to shower, but Agreed. It is something that we're looking into. And if we need to make changes next year, we're going to look at changes at that. So
okay, so it's fluid.
Yes.
One of the first things I thought of as a question when I heard about this schedule shift was, how will cell phones be monitored when students go into the locker rooms to change and then when they come back to get ready to return to class? And so 2 parts. Yeah. Will there be an adult faculty member supervising both locker rooms to try to better ensure that there is appropriate behavior?
Yeah, so the rule now at BA is no cell phone in locker rooms. That's very difficult to manage. As you guys can see as parents, our coaches are not sitting in locker rooms with kids getting dressed 24 hours, 7 days a week. That's not who we are. Our coaches are required to be a presence. So they're required to walk through those locker rooms and really be an earshot of the locker rooms. That being said, we're going to do even more than that. We've got a young lady and we've got young men that are going to be basically herders. So the first 10 minutes, kids are going to be getting dressed. At the 10-minute mark, we're going to have somebody go through the locker room and say, you need to be in the weight room. And then at the end, before the next block starts, or in that 25 minutes where you're getting dressed, they're going to come in and say, you got 5 minutes. It's time for you guys to get back to class. So there's going to be that presence in there. We're going to ask parents' help, understand the legalities, the dangers of having a cell phone in the locker room for the person that has it and for the person that's being shot. It can be a really bad situation. So we're going to have to educate our students on that. But as always, we don't have eyes on our students when they're in the bathrooms during the day, 24 hours a day, and we don't have eyes on students when they're in the locker rooms. We're just going to do our best to get supervision flowing through the locker rooms. Okay. Was that all of them, or did I answer?
I think you did. I think you did great.
That was a 2-part, but I don't know if I got both of those. So
you did.
So anyway.
Will upper class students be given priority for first or last block workouts?
I do not think any of our priorities are given for first and last blocks. Obviously, you would rather first or last block. The people that are doing the scheduling, I think they know they would rather the seniors get those. But I think it's not schedules aren't being determined by fitness classes. They're being determined by APs, offerings, Spanish 4s, whatever they're doing. So those are setting the priorities, and then after that, it'll go back to fitness. So I kind of dodged the question because I don't think they're going to get priority, but I think if it's at all possible, we're going to try to help the seniors as much as we can.
Okay, sure. I can't imagine the puzzle of trying to get all of this worked out for each student.
Yeah.
A couple more questions.
Sure.
What does in-season versus off-season fitness class look like?
Yeah, so
for athletes.
So just think. Let's take a girls soccer player. So soccer player is going to start here in the fall. They're going to have an in-season workout. So likely what's going to happen is Kirsten Biggers, who does our girls programming, is going to have probably a 2 or 3 day work week with those girls because they're going to have 2 or 3 games that week when they're working. So Coach Gallagher, Tina Gallagher, will tell our coaches, hey, they've got 2 games this week. We want 3 workouts. Kirsten will develop the 3 workout program for the week. So let's, for argument's sake, say it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. What he will basically do is condense those workouts to be smaller reps, but he will have smaller number of exercises in each one. As soon as soccer season's over, some may go into girls basketball and have the same thing from a basketball workout, but some may go into off-season soccer. So now they will have 5-day week workouts planned for them. So now they won't have to do every lift in those 3 workouts. They can spread them out over 5 days. So it'll be much more fluent for them, where they can get stronger, they can get faster, and hopefully build the foundation for them throughout the week.
So just so I have this correct, thinking through my own kiddo who plays girls soccer, where does study hall fit into that? Because I thought you mentioned earlier she won't be actually on days where, let's say, she has games in the fall. Are those the days when she would have a study hall, or she's just doing something differently for fitness?
Let me make sure. Thank you for bringing that up. Let me clarify. She will have her normal study hall through the academic day. So if she has an A1 study hall, she will have that normal study hall.
Okay.
But let's say A2 is her fitness class. So every A1, she will go to that study hall. A2, which is fitness, she will be lifting 3 of those days during that game week. And the other 2 days that she has games, during that A2 fitness hour, we will have a study hall up in the top of the rock where she will go sit up there during that 40 minutes, and she will have 40 minutes to work on something if she needs to.
Got it.
So
okay.
that's not that's in addition to, not instead of.
You're not taking away.
We're not taking any away study halls.
Okay.
No.
Sometimes I'm slow.
No, that's great. That's great.
Also, will there be? I think you actually already mentioned this. A workout during the lunch block. You actually already answered that.
There will be.
Okay.
At the end of the class,
you already mentioned.
They will go.
They will work out, then change, then go to lunch,
exactly right.
move on to their next block.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Okay. Can you think of anything else that I didn't ask that you would want to address?
I just know there's a lot of change. And again, I want our families to know that this comes with a cost. The academic time is cutting down 5 or 10 minutes for each class. That's a cost. Some people don't want to lift during the day. That's a cost. We're going to have a quarter of the population in the Rock during the middle of the day. The moms group with Madeline, that's a cost. These are things that are costs for us. We know change is hard, and we know it's not going to be the perfect scenario for everyone. I want our parents to know that this has been talked about for a number of years, at least 3 years. And we would not be doing this if this was not for the opportunity to help our kids. We didn't get into it, but those kids that aren't taking both fitness classes, it's going to give them an opportunity to take more electives. They're going to have more opportunities to take different classes their junior, senior year that they would not have before. It's going to help our PE program, those kids that give them an opportunity to lift. It's going to help our in-season kids an opportunity to get more study halls. It's going to give our off-season kids an opportunity to get home earlier and sleep later. So there's a lot of pros going against the cons, and who knows, it may be a disaster. I will tell you, there's a lot of smart people that we've talked about that we're going to make this work, and we're just asking our parents to stay with us and say, we know they must be doing it for some reason, and if they give us a chance, I think 2 or 3 years from now, we're going to have it perfected, and I think people are going to say this was a good move. So
what it sounds like to me, because I'm somebody who doesn't love change,
Yes.
and I don't like when things are unfamiliar.
Yep.
But often there's a lot of growth
Yeah.
with change.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're asking for parents to be flexible
Yeah.
and to encourage their students to have good attitudes in the midst of the change. There are going to be kinks,
Yep.
but we've got to stick together
Yep.
and give each other the benefit of the doubt and ask questions when we don't understand something and encourage our kids to. But I'm hearing from you that we as parents need to try to have a good attitude as well.
Yeah.
And that be supportive. And who should we contact if we've got extra questions?
Well, there's a
about
couple
how this
different
plays
areas.
out?
If we're talking about academics, some of the kids are going to be able to take more AP classes because they'll have some flexibility now. If it's an academic piece, I would talk to Josh Davis or Andy Bradshaw.
Okay.
If there's something going on with the fitness piece, it would be me, Hardy Buck, who's the assistant AD, Terry Kalmus. The three of us will be handling most of the fitness questions. But again, I think this is going to help us long run with our growth, but I just want to thank you for asking the questions, because I think everything you ask is something that I've heard over the summer, and we hope this podcast will answer some of those. So
I hope so too. Thank you for taking time and for being open to answering things and working through all of the kinks.
great.
Hopefully it's going to be awesome.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.